Hi class. So I wanted to talk to you guys today about the recipe that I found most useful for my present and past relationships, whether it's friendships or actual intimate relationship. So I want to talk about the ingredients is the fundamentals on love, and then you have the batter of which is created, which is how we give and receive love, and then you also have the dish itself, which is how we love in general or what we're used to. So the five main ingredients are vulnerability, honesty, communication, respect, and trust. You need to respect the person in order to trust them. You need to trust them enough to be vulnerable enough to communicate honestly without consequence. Now, I don't know what you just heard, but let me clarify that a little bit. So, have you ever came forth with a little bit of information to your significant other or friend, and they later use that context out of context to prove a point that they never had in the first place? That is what I'm talking about. That is what diminishes respect, trust, and vulnerability through communication. So let's talk about respect. Respect is the idea of that person is their own individual. You have to respect them as they came in, and you also respect them as they go out as well. You respect their integrity and their morals. Now, trust is the feeling of being physically and emotionally safe. And I know that is very hard in this dating age because of all the accessibility that is now available with dating and everything like that. Now, it's always a tongue tire. Vulnerability, the ability to be 100% transparent in a relationship is very important, because if you're not being transparent, you almost come off as being dishonest and as if you're hiding something. So communication. You can never have enough communication because you need to be comprehended. You need to have a ground of which you feel like you're being understood. And no, I don't need you to always respond to what I'm saying. I just need you to understand it. And even if that's just a head nod, or even going out of your way to do something in which corresponds with what I'm communicating with you about, like if I tell you, oh, I don't like the fact that you leave the garbage, or this, that, and the third. All you have to say is, yes, okay, I hear you. You know what I mean? I'm sorry for that. And you come forth and you be vulnerable. I'm sorry that I'm doing that. Maybe it's just a hard week at work or something like that. But from that forth on, you work on communication and doing what that person asks you. So honesty, which is a double-ended sword, because too much honesty can actually hurt someone's feelings, and a little bit too little of honesty can actually have a person feeling like you're being sneaky. So those are the ingredients for love. So let's talk about the batter, which is how we give and receive love. So some people give and receive love differently, or how they view it, view it differently. So some people give and receive gifts as a form of love, which is flowers, or surprising that other person with something that they've been talking about subconsciously, that they've been hinting about. That is gift, or gift giving or receiving. Quality time. This is not spare time that you're just giving that person. This is time that you're setting aside for that person. There's a difference between giving someone time and making time. Do you get what I'm saying? When you make time, you're making that person feel like they're vital to whatever you're trying to accomplish in the future. When you're just giving them time, it's just like, oh, okay, so since you just had time, you're just going to be like, oh, well, yeah, if you want to come over, you can. And then you hear the girl like, but do you want me to come over? That's kind of what it feels like. So words of affirmation could be reassurance. It's always good to tell the person that you love, like, you're very important to me and this is what you mean to me. And expressing that appreciation definitely goes a long way. Acts of service. And yeah, if she asks you to clean the kitchen, just clean the kitchen. If he asks you to do something, just do something. But it's not in return for a favor. It's just you doing it because you know that person goes out of their way to do it for you. That's kind of what acts of service is about. So a lot of people think, oh, well, that's it. Okay, just combine all those things, and let's just set it and forget it. That's not how love works. Love's recipe is based off of every single individual. It's very different. How people prioritize what they need in love is very individually based. So I might need more communication than the next person because I need more reassurance, or I accept love by giving more than receiving. So if you're with a person that's always giving and you always have to be the person receiving, you're going to feel inadequate in that relationship because that's not how you love someone. So when people look at love, love is how you treat your family members. Love is how you treat your coworkers, strangers, or even the person that you're in a relationship with. Incorporating this recipe of vulnerability, honesty, gift giving and receiving, and actually taking the time to understand how people actually love and how to make a relationship better and healthier at that. A lot of social media portrays very unhealthy signs of relationships that we now condemn as normal or healthy, and that's just not what it is. Relationships take a lot of work. It is a recipe that is individually based, so it is a recipe that has to be, you know, continuously learned, and a lot of people aren't willing to do that. So you have to be selfful when using these fundamentals. You have to be selfful. You have to be selfful. And yes, it's when you are so self-aware of your emotions and other people's emotions that you can mentally devote yourself to another person. So these are the fundamentals that I have found most useful when it comes to loving and being in new relationships past the failed engagement that I had. Let me backtrack to that. So I didn't know if I wanted to share this necessarily because I did it on the practice run, but my name is Shannon. I met my ex-fiance at 17 and we were no longer engaged by the age of 23. We were previously engaged at the age of 22. So I have, you know, had my fair share of interest when it comes and knowledge when it comes to, you know, relationships and failed relationships and the present relationship that I am in now. And I feel like if you guys incorporate a lot of this, which is respect, trust, communication, and vulnerability, that it will definitely help with a lot of aspects and take out a lot of guessing games when it comes to relationships. And understanding the recipe definitely helps the chef and makes their life a lot easier. So I hope you guys enjoyed this presentation on, you know, the fundamentals of my recipe for love and how it works for me. And I hope you guys have a great day.